Hey, good evening. My name is Otieno Tony, and I welcome you to this broadcast. It's my first time on this platform, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a lot more things to talk about as far as politics is concerned in the country. We've got a lot of things that we're going to tackle just right at the moment. And if you are here, this is where you are supposed to be. This is home. It is my first time being live, going live here, trying to talk about so many things. Hello, hello. Lot more things to talk about as far as you've got a lot of things that we're going to discuss right at the moment. If you are here, this is where you are supposed to be. This is home. So, what I'm going to talk about today is about the current situation, the current political situation in our country, Kenya. We've seen people coming out in big numbers trying to complain about the current political status in the country. We've seen people saying that, Kenya Kwanza should not reunite with ODM, that is the official opposition party, which has been in Kenya active over decades. So what is now paining most of the Kenyans is that they feel like Raila Amolo Odinga, who has been their fighter, their savior, the watchdog of the government of the day for over decades, is trying to run away from them. This is now what is hailing Kenyans, and we've seen several reactions, people reacting differently onto this matter. And so far, Raila threw himself to vie for the position of the AUC chairmanship, where he lost to the Djibouti aspirant, that is Yusuf. And we saw many Kenyans were celebrating his loss because many people never wanted Raila to walk out of the political scene in Kenya. They wanted him to remain in Kenya so that he can watch over them, so that he can be trying to inject and putting the government of the day on toes. But nonetheless, people are complaining that the Raila himself, whom they knew, the father of democracy, the person who has been in the people's heart, who has been fighting for the rights of citizens and the freedom of speech and everything, is now trying to walk away from the normal 190 people as he is always used to. Like many people say that Raila Amolo Odinga, despite the fact that he has always thrown itself into the electioneering seats in Kenya, vying for top leadership positions like the president, like maybe for 5 times without any success. They say that despite the fact that he has been losing, maybe despite the fact that he is not even getting some backup and support from some regions of the country, does not mean that he is now free to go and join the government. We've seen Gen Zs, those are the youth in the country, who is the majority, more becoming 2027, they will be the majority voters, saying that Raila himself should not, in any given matter, in any given situation, try to work together with the government of the day, by the fact that they say that the government of the day has refused to listen to Kenyans. They say that Ruto himself has become insolent and incorrigible. He is not being told anything. He's not listening to the people on the ground. He's doing things based on his own ways without considering the plea of the people or the cry of the normal Mwananchi. And this one has been causing a lot of pain to many Kenyans. And we've seen many Kenyans throwing a lot of harsh words. People are tired. And we've seen also people trying to backlash the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga for the fact that they are saying that he used the opportunity that he got during the Gen Z movement, during the demonstration which were being held by the Gen Zs in the country. That is when Raila decided to come together and hold a talk with President William Ruto when things are very boiling hot in the country. And the youth are saying that Raila is an opportunist because he decided to use that opportunity so that he could benefit himself, so that he could go and bargain for his party's leadership positions, because we saw that after the bargaining or after the talk which they had, there came a broad-based government. Then the broad-based government gave birth to the some members of the opposition, like we saw people like Joho, who once worked in the administration of of Azimio One Moja coalition, was being brought back into Kenya Kwanza government, and they were being given CS positions. We saw Opio Wandai, who was also a very strong opposition leader, also being given a CS position for energy in the country. And some other people equally were also invited. We saw John Mbadi, who was also very vocal and vibrant in opposition, being given the position of the cabinet secretary for finance. So these things kind of never went down well with many Kenyans who are now saying that Raila is just but an opportunist, someone who doesn't care about the fate of the Kenyans, despite the fact that he's been fighting for a lot of changes, for a lot more reforms in the country. There is still need for him that he should still keep onto that lane, despite the fact that he threw himself to vie for the position of the AUC and lost. That now gave him a chance to come back and continue with this work of opposition, of his work of critiquing the government where necessary. But to Raila himself, he doesn't seem to be bothered about the comments and the things that people have been saying. What he came back saying to the people is that he's going to be doing a consultative tour across the country where he's expecting to be going around several regions in the country. And so far, he has visited a lot of counties in the country. And what he's doing, or what he said that he's going to do during this walk, is to consult wider with the like-minded leaders and citizens of the country, so that he can consult on the way forward. After which, after he shall have concluded with the tour and the consultative journey in the country, he's gonna give his supporters or his fan base a way forward. But if you walk across the corridors of social media, you go to Twitter, you go to TikTok, you find that people are very hungry with the fact that they are very angry with the fact that Raila Amolo Odinga is now very close with the working government, that is the Kenya Kwanza. And you might ask yourself, like, which kind of sin has Raila Amolo done to work with William Samoei Ruto? Now, I want to take you through some things which might make some of citizens of Kenya to be angry with Raila Amolo Odinga or with William Ruto working together. First of all, is that Kenya Kwanza was it was a party or a coalition, let me call it a party, which was formed, which really resonated with the people of Kenya during the electioneering process when Raila was challenging Kenya Kwanza government during the 2022 election process. And you saw the wheelbarrow scenario, we saw the Asla Nation era thing, which really paved way for Ruto to be where he is today. So Ruto, to some extent, went down, and he reduced himself to the level of many low-level Kenyans earning in the country. And many people accepted him for whom he was, because he said that he wasn't a dynasty. He was just a son of a normal man who is not known in the country, who just strove his ways hard so that he could make it where he was, and he was striving hard so that he can come and also change the lives of people who are struggling as he did while he was trying to navigate through his political ways. But to uttermost surprise of many Kenyans who believed in him and went ahead and gave him the votes, are saying that, you know what, it's high time that we are not going to now be doing this, because things must change. Because he said that immediately he's going to put the Bible down after swearing in, is going to do a lot of things in the country. And many people believed, you remember that when Kenya Kwanza was taking the government, Kenya was in a very bad situation, in a very bad critical economic time, where the maize prices, the flour prices were very high, and the fuel prices in the countries were very high. So he promised people, he gave people hope that immediately that is gonna be sworn in, immediately that is gonna be putting the Bible down, things are gonna be changing rapidly. He even said that after 100 days in his office, after his election, and after swearing in, things are gonna be better for life. But the tune changed very fast, and even after a few months, things became, with the Tuesday and Thursday demonstrations that were being held by the Azimio la Umoja coalition members, which was led by none other than Raila Amolo Odinga, came in, where they were trying to push the government to reduce the fuel prices in the country and to lower the prices of maize flour. And things were like, give him time. It's just maybe some days hold in the office, and people are very optimistic. The Aslan Nation people, the people who believed in their brand, were still very optimistic that Ruto is gonna deliver his manifestos. And today we are almost 3 years into the Ruto's government, but people are surprised that a lot of promises which he made are not being fulfilled. We saw Ruto bringing the financial bill, which was very controversial back in 2024, that is June 2024, a bill which caused a lot of chaos in the country. Many people didn't just welcome the bill because it had some phrases, some articles which were not sitting well with the Kenyan citizens, and they said that, you know what, you are introducing this into this bill, but we are not good with it. And many people, this is the first time that Ruto came out and said that he's gonna be doing a very transparent, honest, thorough, you know, public participation when it comes to the uh, preparation of the budget and the bill itself. And many people say that, what, we are not going to accept to some of the clauses which are being introduced into this bill because they're gonna be punitive. They're not gonna be sitting well with us. They're gonna be punishing us despite the fact that we are going through hard economic times. But Ruto didn't seem to listen with his allies in Kenya Kwanza. They didn't seem to listen, something which forced the movement, which was very vibrant and strong. That is the Gen Z movement who came to the street to oppose the bill. And we saw people demonstrating, people losing their lives, people storming the parliamentary building, where there was just a lot of mayhem, something which has not been seen in Kenya for many decades back then was witnessed in the country where many people lost their life. The police brutality and the harsh kind of statements which were being issued by the president himself during those times. People were in a very critical position in the country, and that one went down. We saw that opposition himself, the opposition party, kind of distanced themselves from that entire demonstration of the Gen Z. But later on, Raila is the man who people believe that came to the salvage of William Ruto at that time. And I think that's why the most of the Gen Zs are very hungry. Not only that, let me also talk to some about some things that which might make people be angry about the government of William Samoei Ruto. William Samoei Ruto promised people that he's gonna be launching the ASLA fund. That is the money which people are gonna be borrowing, and it's gonna be going at low interest and stuff. And then it was launched true to his words and true to his promise. And we've not seen the impact of the money so far. The money itself, we never knew. It was not allocated in the budget. We never knew where it came from. It was not explained like from which docket in the treasury is this money coming from, so that it can fund all these things. But nevertheless, it came. It launched. Its first disbursement came, and it was disbursed to the people. We don't know whether the people paid. We've not seen a follow up. That is the first thing which I think mistake which Kenya Kwanza did under the leadership of President William Samoei Ruto. The next thing was also introduction of the 3% housing levy, which was later reduced to 1.5%, something that many many people in the country who are civil servants were really against, because it was going to inflict much pain into their salaries, because it's going to slash a lot of money out of their salaries. And they are asking themselves, like, we are people who are working hard in this country. We have got our homes, we have got our resources, we can take loans to do our own investments. Why is the government forcing us with these kind of homes? And Ruto told them that, these are your homes, these are things that we're going to be buying once the building is complete. But we saw a different scenario when the cabinet, at least Wahome for labor and staff, came and saying that, what, there is nothing like this money being, your money, this government money, and these facilities are government facilities. And we've not even been briefed on whereabouts of the development, or where has the project reached so far, or what's the benefit, how many people have bought the houses, how many houses have been built before or has been built. So these are the challenges which we saw. So there are still a lot of questions being there. We saw the university funding model coming in, something which really people were against. We saw the changing of the NHIF to SHA and SHIF, that is the Social Health Authority and Social Health Insurance Fund. We were never told the necessity or the urgency of changing the NIF thing to the she and sha, and we have not been explained to why there is a lot of complaint, and also the functioners of the system of the sha and she in many public hospitals and even private hospital, the associating themselves with the entire thing, indicating that this thing is not going to last long. And the consortium, which was paid millions of money, the Safaricom consortium, which were maybe the red flag were there, the people raised alarm, but the president did it. So I think whatever has been ailing the people of Kenya is the adamant nature in which the president and his regime is trying to administrate their governance, or is they are trying to rule the people. They are ruling the people in a way that they are not trying to be keen to read the mood of the people. They are not trying to be very conservant about the opinions of the people. They always say whenever they are on top of the vehicles that they are listening to the people on the ground, but they went ahead and did the contrary. And these are as just seen Kenya getting messy and messy. And even if we saw the other times Kenya was being ranked among, or not only Kenya, but President Ruto William was ranked, I think, top three in the most corrupt leaders in the country, and is very comfortable in the country. He seems not to be worried about anything going on in the country. And this one, I think, is why many people are against Raila or ODM in its totality, trying to come together to form the broad-based government with the Kenya Kwanza, because they feel like Kenya Kwanza has betrayed them. They feel like Kenya Kwanza is no longer serving their interest, but the people surrounding themselves with the president and the president himself are just people who are self-centered and egocentric, that are just trying to fulfill their own selfish ambitions in the country. But whose money are they using to fulfill their luxurious life which they are living? This is taxpayers' money. I think that's why there is this hunger which is coming from most majority in the country. And I think that's why Ruto should sit down to himself, not even to the advisors and the other person, and ask himself like, who who was I while I was doing the campaign? I was William Samuel Ruto, the hustler, the wheelbarrow guy, the guy who could buy some maize with Mama Mboga and the border guy. But am I still the person who used to go there during the campaigns in 2024? He should sit down and reflect on the kind of promises that he made to the people of Kenya, and reflect, backtrack, and see like how many have I fulfilled, other than going to the churches with the lump sum amount of money, trying to promise a lot of millions of money, trying to launch unnecessary projects in the country. There is a way that the government should work. And many people still believe that Ruto can work. Many people still believe that Ruto is a worker, but they are worried. What is disturbing many people is what happened to the president whom they know, the president whom they woke up and voted for. And that's the only issue. There is nothing like tribalism or nothing. People are just afraid, like, no, this is not the guy who elected on October of 2022. It's a different person altogether. And I think the president has got the opportunity to just say, sit down, to meditate about the things that he did in the country, because he's holding a strong, very big political position in the country. He has a big influence on the matters of governance, matters economy, matters social life and stuff in the country. He might have surrounded himself with not very good leaders, but he still has got that opportunity to think like a man who has got the PhD, which he always talk about, and ensure that he's directing his energy into the change of the future of this country. He promised youths a lot of employment. Little did they know that the employment which are being promised was just maybe the construction sites which are not even happening in the country. I think he has got the potential to deliver, but he has got no manpower to help him. I don't understand. That one aside, there was a time when there was a struggle between the president and the deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua, who was ousted out of the government back last year, and now he is championing to be the chief of opposition in the Mount Kenya region. And as we are approaching the 2027 general election, we've seen him trying to mobilize other leaders so that they can come together and form maybe a strong and formidable opposition party that can put the government on check, trying to put the government on toes. But the fact that they're trying to do that, it's very unfortunate, because all the praises and the worship that they really talk about William Samuel Ruto is him getting out of office. I think the best thing that they should do is to try to act as a watchdog. They should try to see the gaps and the loopholes which are in the government, so that they can pinpoint them and talk about them and put the government on pressure, so that they can, you know, legislate and implement some of the things that they can do better, other than trying to fight to remove him from office. It is good they can remove him from office, but during this time when he's still in office, they should look the kind of development plans which they maybe have promise the people and they are not delivering, and they should force the government, put some pressure to the government so that the people can get such kind of services. And maybe if they realize that there is somewhere where there is corruption or looting of the public funds, they should talk about it. They should pressure the government to execute and prosecute such kind of individuals who are involved in maybe corruption and money laundering in the government. And then maybe when time comes in 2027 or in 2026, when now it's time for campaign, they should form that their party and try to also sell their agenda and manifesto to the people. And if people buy the agenda, then it's good and well, they're going to be elected if they provide a strong leader who is going to compete accurately with the president. I think that's the best thing that they can do. Then for Raila Amolo Odinga, he's a grown man. He's a man who has been in the political scene for a very long decade. He's known as for the father of opposition, and now people are crying for him like he's being a con man, that is being egocentric. I don't want to talk much, but I think what he should do is just to listen to the people, despite the fact that he's doing the consultative journey and meetings with the people in the country. He should listen to the voice of the majority and do what the voice of the majority wants. The voice of the majority means that it doesn't mean that he should just follow someone else's opinion who is just egocentric, who maybe just want to use him, but he should sit down as a man who has been having a lot of experience in the political scene so that he can make a wise, elaborate, and clear decision going forward. And I think our country, Kenya, still needs a lot in terms of mobilization and civilization when it comes to the times of election, so that we can do away with this kind of tribalism thing when it comes to electing leaders, where we don't always wake up to go and support our own because he's from our tribe or she's from our tribe, but because we have always seen their manifesto, because we should be a country where we elect leaders based on meritocracy. And I think that's when we as Kenyans, we shall have gained a democracy and maybe political maturity, when we decide to close our eyes to all this kind of nepotism, all this kind of tribalism, racism, and stuff, so that we can just elect people on meritocracy. I think from there we can make a very big impact based from all the way from the MCAs to the MPs, you know, and from there we can begin with the people we elect, because you knew like no, you are able to do this thing, you have the qualifications, we've seen you done this before and we know what you can do, your potential, not because you are from our community, so we want to give you a chance, so that each and every community is feeling like they're sidelines and they want to bring in their son or their daughter to be vying for that position. They are not because the person is eligible or is meriting for that position, but because they feel like they're left behind, that they are not represented. So I'm just trying to think about how things can be done better in a country where we are today. And I think it's very possible that things can be done differently. So in this my podium, I was just trying to do some testing here and there today, but I'm planning in going forward to do some serious talks. Where I'll be inviting some guests here who will be giving their opinions, who will be delving deep into some matters governance in the country, some matters which are affecting the social lives in the country. So people who can give insight to maybe some of the political errands which are being run in the country. Because we Kenyans, we have born a brand of being doing politics after elections, before elections, during elections, and we are ever in politics. And the fact that we are ever in politics is only a few cocoon of people who might come out and speak out of their own ideas and opinions without being influenced by tribe, by race, by friendship and stuff. So here we'll be trying to invite people so that we can hear their opinions. We'll also be happy to engage with our people via our comment sections, via our chats, and we'll also be giving you our social media handles where you can reach out. And also, we can give you our number where you can call if you want to be featured in these sessions, because we are planning to have a lot of sessions like this where we'll be trying to sensitize people. We are trying to talk to people. What we want people to get out of is this tribal line of electing people based on you are from our community. We want people to start seeing people as individuals, not as tribal men or tribe men, We want to see people trying to view political scene in Kenya as something very serious. We want the democracy of Kenya not to be called just a democratic country, but to be called a verified and excellent democratic country. And that's why this session in Sesanduru thing, we always talk about matters of democracy. We talk about governance. We talk about politics. And it's not bad. My opinion might be differing with yours. I don't own like the compound wisdom and knowledge are based on politics. I'm prone to error too. I'm ready to be corrected. Then just in a very amicable way, in a very respectful manner, we engage, we correct each other, and we grow together. And my name is Otieno Tony once more, and I'll take this time to thank you once again and to inform you that we are just doing some testing here. I'm sorry for that. We are just doing some testing here, and we're gonna engage more. We want your opinion based on what we can do better, and so that we can have a very meaningful and fruitful engagement. Otherwise, I'm gonna wish you a very good moment as I leave at the moment.